What's up YouTube, Demi here with a crafting session. This is a beginner-friendly guide on how to craft your very own first Shaper's stat stick, right? So the first thing you need to do is to find a stat stick base. Generally these will be a scepter or an axe or a sword, dagger. It depends on what kind of main skill you want to use. So for example, if you're going to use Blade Flurry Reeve, that is a skill that only works with daggers, swords, and claws. And it will not hit with your offhand if your offhand is a weapon that it can't be used, right? So if you use a scepter or an axe for your offhand, Blade Flurry Reeve can't use that weapon. So you get the bonuses of dual wielding and the bonuses given to you by a stat stick without any of the, without losing any damage on your main skill, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to go to this website, which I'll link in the description below. This is what I use to check the rolls on items. I used to use PoE Affix, but that website is hilariously outdated and just blatantly wrong on a lot of things, so I don't use it anymore. But you're going to look for, if you have a scepter base or an axe base, you just click either one. I'm going to go for a scepter here, and you scroll down until you see Shaper mods, right? So depending on how high of a potential weapon you want to get, you have to check and see what tiers you have available, right? So the Statsticks stuff is usually gain Fizz as X damage, right? These mods start at level 68 for tier 3, T1 is 75, sorry, T2 is 75, T1 is level 80. It's the same for extra lightning, extra fire. And then there's another one, which is down here. Elemental damage is extra chaos damage. Those are all your prefixes. You can have 3 prefixes, 3 suffixes on every item. Every rare item, rather. Magics can only have 1 of each. So, for a perfect stat stick, I would go for, if I wanted to hit maximum all T1s, right, I needed a level 85 base. But to start out with, say you have a level 75 base, that's fine. The one that I'm going to use here is level 83. So I can hit all of the tier 1s of fire, lightning, but I can't hit T1 Chaos, and that's okay. There is also a suffix mod. There's Elemental Penetration, which again, mine's level 83, so it would be able to hit all 3 tiers here. And then there is gain physical damage as extra damage for random element. That's T1, it's the same tiers as the other ones, right? 68, 75, 80. So, to start out with, if you're starting out, level 75 is a good place to start. You can hit all the mods, at least some. It won't be a perfect T1 roll, sure, but level 75 shaped base, whatever, right? So, to start with, you're going to need a bunch of alts, a bunch of regals, and some scours. And you basically are just going to sit here, and you're going to you're just going to alteration spam until you get a gain Fizz as X mod. Now that's a really low tier of one, right? It's tier 3, but that's okay, it's better than nothing. And then you just regal it. If you hit something good on the regal, then you would go over to your crafting bench and craft like crit multiplier, global crit multi for instance, and you would be done. I'm a little bit more picky than that. That's like a good starter one. That's how you would start out with. But because I'm picky, I would go for 2 mods, for example, instead of just 1. And it's going to take a while. This could take a lot of alts. That's the tier 2 elemental damage extra chaos mod, so I'm going to regal that one. And we didn't hit anything good, so we just start over. I'm basically going to do this. If you get lucky, you'll have 3 mods at the end of your regal. You'll alteration spam into 1, aug the 2nd, regal the 3rd, which is pretty rare, but it can happen. But that being said, even if you only have 1 or 2 of the mods, you can still have a pretty good stat stick to start out with. But yeah, I'm just going to do this for a bit until I get a good result, or I'm going to hit tyrannical, which is really rare, so I'm going to not worry about that. You're going to go through a lot of mods. You'll learn relatively quickly what mods to look at and what mods not to look at. It's just kind of a learning process. The more that you do this, the more familiar you'll become with the mod pools of every type of item. There you go, that's a tier 2 Fizz extra fire. Okay, for spells. That works for Blade Vortex, Glacial Cascade, whatever, but we're trying to make an offhand stat stick for melee. Yeah, I'm just, okay. I'm getting distracted. But yeah, we're going to go for Fizz as X mods. And you're just going to sit here and do this for a while. You can roll into things that are really good for builds that aren't for yourself. If that happens, I highly recommend that you just sell the item. There you go. Okay, that's what I mean. That's what would happen. There you go. This is a pretty good stat stick, right? It's got a prefix and a suffix that are both really good, gained as X mods, right? You're just going to go over to your sharpening wheel, and you would craft on, if you're a crit build, you'd craft on global crit multi. And you're done. There you go. This is a pretty good stat stick to start out with. It's obviously not perfect. You could divine it a little bit if you wanted. Actually, you don't need to do it. It's pretty well divined already. But that's how you would start out with. That's how you get your first one, and then later on you'll go for one with 3 gained Physis X mods. Later on you'll go for 4 gained Physis X mods. You'll go for tier 1s on across all the rolls. Eventually you'll end up with something that looks like this if you push hard enough and you dump enough currency into it, which is, I think, what, 3 T1s and a T2? And then strength, like you can get a lot of damage out of a stat stick, right? But this would give you more than enough damage to get in endgame maps if you had a decent one-hander. Like it's just starting out, and you can improve on this as much as you want. You can be as picky as you want. You can only regal tier 1s if you so choose. I would generally, if I was doing this for myself, I would probably only regal tier 1s gain Physis X mods. But it's kind of up to you. Depends on how picky you are and how much currency you have to waste on things like this. Ellie is extra chaos, sure. Yeah. There you go. There's a one that I just transmuted that and I got 2 damage mods that we wanted. That one's bad, so we'll just start over. I do want to start making, there's a T1. I want to start making more of these videos that are more new player friendly. So if you have anything like a stat stick that you want to learn how to craft from scratch, I have a crafting playlist on my YouTube channel. That's a good place to start. If you want to learn how to craft anything specific, if I have a crafting video on that item, I'll explain what I'm doing as I craft. But I want to make more videos like this that are targeted towards specific types of items to craft. And it may be a little bit more difficult to make videos on each one because I'd have to literally sit here and craft it myself to show you. But that's okay. If you have any ideas about stuff like this that you would like to see crafted, like say you want to learn how to craft, I don't know, a damaged steel ring or something along those lines, just let me know in the comments below and I will go ahead and get that done. T1 wed, T2 Ellie. That doesn't make sense. Does it? No, it doesn't make sense. T1 attack speed. Attack speed is nice for offhand. If you're leap slamming with your offhand skill, then the local attack speed would apply. I don't know if level 20 Ellie Prolif is ever going to be a good item or a good mod. It feels like it should be. There's T1 pen. No. I forgot what I was gonna say. I don't know. If you want to see this sort of stuff crafted live, you can always follow me on Twitch below. The link's in the description. If you want to support what I do through Patreon, the link is down there for that as well. And if you want to check out my sponsor, Humble Bundle, they allow you to buy games, digital games online, obviously, so that you can play them. They have a lot of discounts. You can get discounts through my codes. But if you buy anything through the store after you click my link, I get a little bit of a commission. So if you want to help support the channel, that is one other way to do it. Appreciate any support you guys want to throw. But I'm going to try to get one more good set of mods here, and then we're going to go ahead and move on to the next video. I keep hitting Tyrannical. That is such a rare mod. Tyrannical is like 1 in 5,000 ults on a caster and attack base, like a scepter. It's so hard to hit, which is kind of weird. But generally, what happens to me is whenever I'm trying to craft something specific, I will get everything else that's like really good for some other build, not what I'm trying to make. So I tend to just sell off those items and buy more bases. But if you can't afford to do that, if it's your only base, if you're an SSF, whatever, then just stick with it. That doesn't work. I don't know why I ogged that. Controlled destruction. Also liking gems in. There we go. Physis extra lightning. Nope, doesn't work. I want to make a 3-prop one. We made it 1-prop, we made a 2-prop. I want to make a 3-prop. 3 damage mods. That would be cool. That's really, really good. That's bad. T1 spell crit and T1 Physis lightning is really nice for casters, specifically, such as Blade Flurry, sorry, not Blade Flurry, Blade Fall, Blade Vortex, Glacial Cascade, Ethereal Knives. All of those would like those type of mods. I guess we could talk about how to make a spell weapon as well. It's more or less the same. Here, I'll just go over that real quick. So, all the gained Physis X mods are your same rolls, right? But suffix-wise, you would look for either faster casting stuff or increased crit stuff for spells, or you would just go for spell crit, which is right here. And you could hit all of these up to T1 on a level 76. It was pretty easy. They are, ooh, there we go. That's what I was just talking about, sure. and stun duration. You'll hit a lot of stun mods, accuracy mods, reduce attributes, garbage mods. There's a lot of them like that. They will make you sad, but alterations are cheap, and I don't think we've spent more than like probably 50C on this so far, and we've already made a lot of good stuff. The hardest part is going to be getting a high level base more than anything. Like a level 85 shaped sandbar scepter, which is the one that has the elemental penetration prefix. Those are generally the highest value, and they are very hard to get because of that. But they're also usually the best in slot mod, unless you're an Inquisitor, which means you don't care about LE penetration. Everything else would be, or every other class would prefer the penetration versus the elemental damage implicit, especially against bosses. But yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to get a 3-prop here. I don't know. Hopefully you guys get the idea. I'm going to go ahead and leave this here. I'll probably just keep alt spamming this for a bit. Or maybe we'll end up making a Righteous Fire Scepter. Who knows? But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, and let me know what you guys want to see next. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. That'll be Demi out, maybe. Oh, close.